If your cat hides more than they used to, startles easily, or grooms themselves until patches appear, do you actually know what's causing it? Most people assume their cat is anxious by nature, going through a phase, or just being oversensitive. But behind those stress signals, there's something deeper that most people miss. And if you keep doing the things that trigger it, which most owners do, completely unaware, you might be the source of your cat's suffering without ever meaning to be. Let's start with the first thing you're probably doing every single day. I'll save the hardest one for last, because when you hear it, it might change everything about how you show up for your cat. 1. Your schedule is quietly breaking them. Have you ever noticed your cat seems more unsettled on days when your routine is different? Later mornings, irregular mealtimes, unexpected guests. Most people think cats are adaptable. They aren't. And here's what most people don't realize. Your cat has memorized your schedule down to the minute. When you feed them, when you wake up, when you come home, when the house goes quiet. That predictability isn't comfort for them. It's safety. When it shifts, their nervous system reads it as a threat signal. Because, in a cat's world, unpredictability means danger is near. In the wild, cats survive by pattern recognition. A disrupted environment means a changed environment, and changed environment hold unknown risks. Your cat's stress response to an irregular Tuesday isn't sensitivity. It's survival instinct misfiring in a world that's supposed to be safe. A study from the University of Edinburgh found that cats in households with inconsistent daily routines showed cortisol levels 37% higher on average than cats in predictable environments, with feeding time irregularity being the single strongest contributing factor. That's not an anxious cat. That's a cat whose sense of safety depends on something you control and didn't know you were disrupting. 2. Your stare is a threat they endure daily. Why does your cat sometimes leave the room when you look at them? Even when you're feeling nothing but love, most people think their cat is being aloof. But here's what makes this fascinating. In cat language, direct, unbroken eye contact is a dominant signal, a challenge. Every time you hold eye contact with your cat without blinking slowly, you are, in their language, squaring up. They're not leaving because they don't love you. They're leaving because they can't hold a confrontation with someone they live with. In the wild, sustained eye contact between cats precedes aggression. It's not neutral. It's loaded, and your cat carries that wiring, regardless of what your intentions are. A study from the University of Sussex found that cats exposed to neutral direct staring from unfamiliar humans showed elevated stress markers in 68% of cases, while cats who received slow blinks instead approached significantly more often and showed lower cortisol responses. And hey, if this is landing for you, hit like and subscribe so we can reach more cat owners doing this without realizing it. Every single day. That's not your cat being distant. That's your cat repeatedly absorbing something that feels like a threat from the person they love most. 3. Your touch is arriving uninvited. Have you ever reached for your cat while they were resting? Not aggressive, not startled, just peacefully there, and felt them subtly tense under your hand. Most people interpret tolerance as enjoyment, but here's the part most people miss. A cat who holds still while being touched isn't always a cat who wants to be touched. They're a cat managing an interaction they didn't initiate. Over time, repeated uninvited contact trains your cat's nervous system to associate your approach with loss of control. And a cat who can't predict when their body will be handled is a cat in a low-grade state of alert. Always, a study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that cats showed significantly lower stress markers when they controlled the initiation of physical contact. And that owner-initiated contact without invitation was one of the most consistent predictors of chronic low-level stress in domestic cats. That's not a cat tolerating affection. That's a cat spending energy managing something that was supposed to feel safe. 4. Your home has nowhere for them to disappear. Why does your cat squeeze into the smallest, most inconvenient spaces in your house? Behind appliances, inside closets, under the lowest furniture. Most people think their cat is quirky. And here's the thing most people get wrong. A cat who needs to compress themselves into tight, hidden spaces is a cat who doesn't feel safe in open ones. Hiding isn't a personality trait, it's a coping mechanism. If your home has no high perches, no enclosed resting areas, no place where your cat can be invisible on their own terms, they will find somewhere, and the fact that they're seeking it tells you everything. In the wild, elevation and concealment are survival tools. A cat who can see without being seen controls their environment. A cat with nowhere to hide is a cat in a permanently exposed position. and chronic exposure means chronic stress. A study from the University of Bristol found that cats provided with dedicated hiding spaces, enclosed boxes placed at height, showed a 28% reduction in stress-related behaviors within 2 weeks, including reduced hiding in inappropriate locations and increased social interaction. That's not a cat being antisocial. That's a cat telling you the environment doesn't feel safe enough to come out of yet. 5. You are what they needed and didn't get. Remember at the beginning when I said the hardest one comes last? This is that moment. When your cat was a kitten, stress had one antidote, one presence that made the world feel manageable. Their mother, consistent, warm, attuned. She didn't overwhelm them with attention. She was simply there, steady and safe. And that steadiness was everything. That role is yours now. Your cat isn't thinking about cortisol or routines or eye contact when they watch you from across the room. They're thinking about connection. They're asking the same question they've always asked. Is this place safe? Is this person someone I can fully exhale around? The biggest source of stress in your cat's life might not be a sound or a stranger or a change in the house. It might be the small daily moments where they needed certainty from you and found unpredictability instead. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be present, consistent, and paying attention. That's all they ever needed. That's all they're still asking for.